Welcome to Midweek News, episode 133. Let's get started. GIMP 3.1.2 is the first step towards GIMP 3.2. The march of GIMP development keeps moving forward. This release is for developers and early adopters. You will undoubtedly have some issues. There are many features that look to be going into this new version, as well as a cleanup of existing code and tweaking functionality. If you want to live on the edge, you can get GIMP as an app image or Flatpak for Linux, as well as being available for macOS and Windows. Ubuntu 25.10 raises RISC-V profile requirements. Canonical is rethinking what type of RISC-V hardware it wants to support going forward, and many RISC-V devices will not be able to run Ubuntu 25.10. The new baseline profile will be RVA23, bumped up from RVA20 in previous versions. RVA23 makes a number of extensions mandatory, such as the vector and hypervisor extensions. According to an issue on Launchpad, the Ubuntu release upgrader should stop upgrades beyond 24.04 that does not support the RVA23U64 profile. This effectively puts the Orange Pi RV2 out to pasture when it comes to running Ubuntu. Since RISC-V usage remains mostly with developers and enthusiasts, this may not be a huge problem at this time. Unfortunately, the range of devices with RVA23 support is close to non-existent. Hopefully that will change by the time Ubuntu 25.10 releases in October. Digicam Photo Manager improves its AI offerings. What's new in the 8.7 version? AI-powered auto-rotation tool, a new check added to query your system for GPU usage for AI tasks, a new test button has been added to make sure GPU support is working correctly, updates to the RAW decoder supporting over 1,260 camera models. AI-powered face recognition also got some attention in this release. It no longer remains active in memory after quitting, the macOS package installation issue have been resolved, and translations have been upgraded. If you haven't looked at Digicam lately, now might be the time to do so. Available for Linux, macOS, and Windows. Linux reaches 5% desktop market share in the US. Yes, folks, for the first time, Linux has broken the 5% desktop market share barrier. The article talks about three major factors: Windows woes, gaming's new frontier, and Linux's own evolution. An interesting read and a great milestone to hit. Bash Shell 5.3 released. Almost 3 years of development since 5.2 has resulted in this new version. The headlining feature is a pair of new substitution forms. Check the article for more details. In addition, there is glob sort, letting users dictate how path name expansions are ordered. Power users will appreciate the compgen-cap v command, which can stuff generated completions directly into a variable. This will be a welcome addition to upcoming Linux distributions. 9 big games come to macOS soon. Here's the list: Crimson Desert, Inzoi, Cyberpunk 2077, Chronos, The New Dawn, Architect, Land of Exiles, Lies of P, Overture, Hitman, World of Assassination, Eve, Frontier, and Where Winds Meet. No specific release date is available for these titles. There are also no specific hardware requirements listed other than M-Series. I wouldn't expect them to run very well on an M1. Your mileage may vary. New Mac models through 2026 released through Apple identifiers. There are 15 upcoming Mac models expected: M5 MacBook Pro 14 and 16 inch, M5 iMac, M5 Pro Mac Mini, M5 MacBook Air in 13 and 15 inch sizes, new Mac Pro, 2 Mac Studio models, and a mystery model that could be the rumored MacBook with an A18 Pro processor. Time will tell how accurate these leaks are. New macOS Tahoe feature solves common Mac complaint. With macOS 26 Tahoe, third-party apps can create control center applets, allowing for smaller interactions to be accessible outside of the menu bar. This goes a long way to address the notch issue on the MacBook line. Just keep in mind that it will take some time before third-party developers fully take advantage of this new feature. For those not familiar with macOS, think of the control center in macOS as being the basic equivalent to the system tray of the taskbar on Windows. Windows 11 will no longer require a restart by default on Office PCs. Unfortunately, that doesn't help those of us not using Microsoft Intune. If, however, you are using Intune, you can follow these steps. Go to the Intune Admin Center, navigate to Devices, Windows Updates, Quality Updates, select the policy, select Edit in Settings, and locate the When Available Apply Without Restarting Device option. Toggle it to Allow. You would think this would trickle down to people using Windows 11 at home or in a small work environment that doesn't use Intune. Maybe someday. Microsoft to make Windows more resilient following the great CrowdStrike outage of 2024. Platform upgrades will roll out in July. The changes, quick machine recovery, and other features letting Microsoft 365 users continue accessing the cloud in a protected environment. Hopefully this is code for not letting antivirus companies integrate into the Windows kernel. For those with a short memory, the 2024 outage caused approximately 8.5 million Windows systems to malfunction. Microsoft has raised prices on server by 20%. New pricing starts in July and into August. These apply only to on-prem servers. Microsoft has blamed price increases on maintenance and updates for on-premise products. Another reason for price increases is that revenues in this part of Microsoft's business are falling. Q2 earnings were down by 3%. Of course, their silver bullet answer is to move to the cloud. I wonder how well this strategy will work for them long term when the most used OS on Azure is Linux. ESPHome updates framework in 2025.6.0 release. ESPHome is an open source system for building custom firmware for ESP32 and ESP8266 microcontrollers, usually paired with Home Assistant. This release introduces support for new chips in the ESP32 family, the ESP32C6, H2, and P4. These new chips bring features such as Wi-Fi 6, Bluetooth 5, Thread, and Zigbee. This is also the last version to support the IDF4 series spec. Starting with ESPHome 2025.7.0, the project will fully shift to the IDF5 series spec. This seems like an interesting project for those who want to build out semi-custom Internet of Things devices. Firefox 140 is the new extended support release, featuring an unload tab feature to reduce memory and CPU usage. The sidebar layout is now default. Pocket integration has been removed as that service is discontinued. Definitely worth checking out. The French city of Lyon will replace Microsoft Office and Windows. The city of Lyon, France's third largest city, will move from Windows and Microsoft Office to Linux and only Office. The city aims to, quote, no longer be dependent on American software solutions and acquire true digital sovereignty, according to the statement. Interestingly, only Office does have some Russian origins, although the company is now registered in Latvia. A Brother printer bug exposes default admin credentials in 689 models. A total of 689 printer models from Brother and another 53 from Fujifilm, Toshiba, and Konica Minolta come with a default administrator password that remote attackers can generate. Sources say there is no way to fix the flaw via firmware in existing printers. The article lays out how the password generation algorithm works. Maybe it's time to revisit the Raspberry Pi print server project. Why cybersecurity should come before AI in schools. We all know that AI is the hot topic right now. The article makes the case that AI is only one part of the tech that students touch every day. Kids are being taught computer skills at earlier ages all the time. Why not start teaching them cyber safety as an integral part of these lessons? Elementary cyber safety basics prep children for their first milestone of independence, their first cell phone. It is important to mention that there are cybersec-centric programs available from cyber.org and Gen Cyber camps that allow schools to integrate these fundamentals into their curriculum. If we want to have a more informed workforce, we need to start teaching these skills early. Whether you are a high-tech executive or a construction worker, you will at minimum be using a smartphone for your job. It can't hurt to expose kids to some basics. Free security certs for IP addresses. Let's Encrypt has long been known for providing free SSL TLS certificates for domain use. Now, it's upping the game and offering a similar service for those with static IP addresses. These will be short-lived certificates, and the real-world use cases for them will likely remain relatively niche. Still, it is an interesting development. StreamYard gets new People tab. This new sidebar tab includes all things guest-related. They've also updated the audio meters and given a fresh new look to private chat. Just as I'm winding down my final year of StreamYard, they are making some compelling updates. Still, it's not compelling enough to go with the price tag they have put on all this. And that, my friends, will bring us to the end of episode 133 of Midweek News. Thank you for watching, and have a great day.